A former Homeland Security Department advisor, former Secret Service special agent, and author of Terrorists on the Border and in Our Country, Charles Marino, as well as former acting Homeland Security Secretary and Executive Director of the America First Policy Institute, Chad Wolf. So good morning. So Charles, I want to start with you. Do you agree with Stephen Miller's assessment that this is not a homegrown problem, it's a problem that has migrated here?
Yeah, I do, 100%. And here's why. Let me go on about that text a little more and interpret it for the viewers. Basically what he's saying, and this is absolutely the right point, is that when we used to talk about radicalization of individuals, it was always, well, did they get radicalized online, or did they travel to a location of interest where terrorist organizations then radicalized the individual and they traveled back to the United States? That's no longer the case, because we have allowed, through this border crisis, the infiltration of the United States. And those mechanisms which radicalize people are now here within the country. If we don't believe it, we saw the protests yesterday in New York City. It is here. And so now it's one-stop shopping for anybody that feels they're aligned with the ideologies of ISIS, Al-Qaeda. The list goes on, because there's going to be a representative of that segment already here in the United States, in communities. And that's what we're going to find here with this individual from New Orleans that carried out the attack.
Yeah, Chad, and just going off of that, I mean, these extremist Islamist views, they are imported views. And of course, we've seen record numbers of illegal immigrants enter this country under the Biden administration. Again, and those are just numbers of the ones that we know of. And there are how many other gotaways. So what is the Department of Homeland Security doing to make sure that those entering the country aren't planning something similar?
Well, unfortunately, very little. And Charles is exactly right. I mean, the sad reality is that over 4 years, we've let in millions of individuals not properly vetted into the United States, and we simply don't know who they are, right? Then you've got 2 million gotaways. These are individuals we have no idea about. We don't know where they've came from. We don't know who they are or where they're going or what they want to do here in the United States. And that's just across our southern border, right? We've brought in and paroled in hundreds of thousands of Afghans after the fall of Kabul that weren't properly vetted. So this idea that, there are large segments of individuals here in the United States that don't like Americans, that are helping to radicalize others here, Charles is exactly right. You don't have to travel to the battlefield any longer. You don't have to go and meet with foreign terrorist organizations. Mostly those are here in the United States because of lax policies over these last 4 years. Obviously, that's going to change in January with President Trump and his new team.
Yeah, and Charles, I think that something that was very surprising to a lot of people was to see that both the terrorist attack in New Orleans was carried out by an Army veteran, as well as the one in Las Vegas, also an Army veteran. That's not somebody you necessarily think of as performing something like this. The one in New Orleans had been an Army vet for 10+ years. He had served over in Afghanistan. Is there something that can be done to better vet those who serve our country?
Oh, absolutely. Look, the last thing we want to see happen is an agency or division like the Department of Defense be infiltrated with, whether it's foreign-born or naturally born individuals that have a hatred towards America and start to align with terrorist organizations. So whatever's being done on background checks and the frequency of that and the issuance of clearances, this all needs to be looked at under the Trump administration, because we now apparently have a problem within these institutions. And we don't want to become a place like Mexico, where the people can't trust the institutions because they may have terrorists within them, because they're not being properly vetted. So it's a big concern right now. But I can tell you, authorities, based on the way they're acting right now, with these additional people out on the loose, they have no grip on this overall threat right now. I'm going to bet that they were suspicious of something, but that they never wrapped their hands around it.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.